The former head of innovation at Swift just broke his silence in a recent interview about Ripple and XRP. Asked, why did you think the Ripple narrative to replace Swift actually caught on? His answer, you need to hear it. We also hear from Coach JV and his thoughts about Swift and XRP. I wanted to put these two things together to really help to better understand what's about to happen here and what the truth actually is here, because I think there's still some debate happening, and hopefully this will clarify all of it. Let's start here.
You know, the narrative was that Ripple specifically was going to replace Swift, and you and I have talked about this at our various meetings at crypto conferences. But, you know, why do you think that narrative caught on? And, you know, from where I sit and how you've described it, and when I look at Ripple and what they do now, it seems like they were never really trying to solve for the same problem. Yeah. So why do you think that was such a prevalent narrative among that community?
I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I think it's a valid strategy to kind of go for the visible target that people know. Go for number one, right? And if you don't make it quite there, but you make it number three, you still have a substantial business. But I also think that, you know, a lot of these companies have really evolved as well, right? You look what Ripple's done with acquisitions and issuing a stablecoin and everything else. It's very different than it was in 2017, 2018. And it looks like they're building a, you know, pretty robust business, not only, you know, well beyond just kind of the network, but issuing assets and getting to prime brokerage and treasury services and everything else. So, I mean, look, I like to see that kind of innovation. I think the competition, the challenge is good. I would hate to be in a company or a service where nobody challenge you and you're just kind of the incumbent and everybody just kind of let it be. I think you need competition. I think you need people to challenge your ideas. I think you need people to push you, not just in finance. I mean, I think we see that in AI now, right? You need that challenge. You need somebody pushing you. You need, you know, if you're the only one, that's just not a good, you know, and centrally planned, that's not a really good outcome. And there's not a history of good outcomes out of those kind of things, right? So I think those are fine. And look, some people are more aggressive than others. I don't take any of this personally. One of the reasons I think, you know, people listen to what I say and read what I write is because I kind of cut through the hype and say, look, you know, I'm not pumping a token and I'm not, you know, I don't have a position on something and I don't have Swift stock, right? So this is just what I see. You know, prove me wrong or agree with me or debate it, but let's just cut through the hype and like, this is what I see and this is what kind of the second order consequences. And I've got a really good response on that. Most of the time when I'm at events and shows, people will stop me and say, look, you don't know me, but you know, I follow you on LinkedIn and I see what you write and I appreciate just, you know, you just being honest about it and having a view. And so that's actually worked pretty well, which is kind of the opposite of, you know, hyping and pumping and talking about things that may or may not be true.
All right. I kind of snickered a bit because he said this is not personal. I feel that some of the messages that he's put out in the past have been a little personal, but all good. That's just my interpretation of what he is writing and posting. Listen, he is speaking his truth and what he knows to be true. And, you know, how do you push back on the head of innovation at Swift kind of coming out and saying, you know, Ripple was really kind of never really competing with us directly and they're gone a different direction now. And so, and it is kind of true. Ripple isn't solely focused on messaging, and that's where Swift has been all of these years, for decades, financial messaging around the world. RippleNet can send financial messages, but XRP and all of their infrastructure can do so much more. And so is Swift going to kind of take over the settlement side of things? No, that's really going to be the institutions that use the rails and what the networks that they decide to use. You got to remember, Swift as an institution is not going to come out and say, we're going to use XRP. It's the individual banks that make up Swift. Those will make the decision on what technologies that they want to use across this network. All right, more Swift Ledger facts. Let's play this.
The Swift Ledger initially will run inside of Swift and Swift data centers. It's not DeFi, right? It's going to run inside of Swift and Swift data centers, just like the messaging does, right? As a starting point. But then the heart of Swift is interoperability. So the question is, well, how are you going to then easily connect on behalf of your customers to other public and private blockchains? And a good portion of those, not all of those, and again, there's good challenges and this is a really developing space, but a good portion of the traction in market infrastructures and payment services and banks, you know, are on EVM-compatible models. Even things like a Stripe Tempo, right? That's going to be an EVM-compatible chain. So it kind of de-risks the decision, but it also kind of helps, you know, when you get things like composability in the EVM model, or you have to leverage interoperability in the future, and nobody quite knows what that is yet because it's all evolving, you're in a much better kind of structural position to be able to do that.
I think also what he's saying here is true. We're still so early and we really don't know what the winners and losers are going to be yet. Everybody is positioning and jockeying for leverage and space here in the market, but it's about to kind of unfold over the next, 1 to 2 years. And we'll have a lot more data on the back half of, let's say, 2027 or 2028 than we do today. And so this is from Smoke. He says the former Swift CEO, regulatory uncertainty and volatility prevents Swift from using XRP. I thought this was a great kind of portion to bring into the conversation here. It says, Mr. Lebrant served as the chief executive officer from Swift from 2012 to 2019. Prior to his role as chief executive officer, he held several roles within Swift, including head of marketing, head of standards, and director of strategy and business development. It also says, his quote here is, I think that the big part of Ripple's value proposition is the cryptocurrency XRP. There we do find that banks are hesitant to convert things into cryptocurrency right now because of the volatility in the currencies themselves. And then he says, another reason why Swift is hesitant or not willing to use cryptocurrencies is because the legal status of XRP and other cryptocurrencies remain unclear to the current uncertainty and regulatory environments. Risk-adverse financial institutions are unlikely to adopt cryptocurrencies until regulations become clear. And even though this was said years ago, it still kind of reigns true, right? Institutions haven't adopted XRP at scale in the United States, even though it has regulatory clarity from a judge and it has regulatory clarity from the SEC. Institutions are waiting for the federal law that says what they can and can't do around cryptocurrencies. And that, of course, is the Clarity Act. And so the real question becomes is post Clarity Act, after you get these regulations in place, will financial institutions finally show up and start using assets like XRP in their infrastructure? And I think that is still what we're waiting for. All right, now you guys got to see this clip. When I was putting the research together for this video, I stumbled across this Coach JV clip, and it really spoke to the moment we're in. With so much misinformation and misdirection in the XRP space, listen to this.
I'm about to trigger a lot of people in the XRP community. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I just want to let you know that there's no influencer, not one, that has the inside scoop on who's doing what or who's using what. We can argue back and forth all day. You can pull articles from the internet, connect your logic, create any story or narrative you want. That's what I do. I'm using logical circuit. I logically believe that XRP won't be the only one, but I believe, based on my logic and investment thesis, that XRP, Bitcoin, and Solana, my top 3 holdings, will be huge parts of the financial system. Not the only parts, huge parts. So my advice and my message is to those who are making investment decisions and emotional decisions based on all the bullshit going back and forth on X and Instagram and TikTok. Trust me on this. There is not one influencer that is being told what's happening behind the scenes. Not one. There's layers to this game. Can say they have secret information. That's called Grok. It's called ChatGPT. It's called Google. We're all doing the best we can with the information we have. DTC, Swift, XRP, Ripple's going down, XRP's going to 0, Swift's taken out. It's like nobody knows. But what I do know is what it's like to create an investment thesis. What I do know is what it's like to create infrastructure and use maturity and logic. What I do know is it's not healthy to make your investment decisions based on emotion.
All right, guys, listen, this is simple. If you're watching a channel and they continue to tell you that Swift's new system is built on XRP technology, or the DTCC is going live and it's all Ripple and XRP related infrastructure, these people are misleading you either on purpose or they haven't done the proper research. And if they haven't done the proper research, they probably shouldn't be making content. You have, everything. You can continue watch these people and continue to be lied to, or you can call them out. And hopefully those people stop making false claims and false promises, and we can all kind of move forward. I think there's always going to be channels that go out of their way to mislead people for clicks and views. And just know that this channel is not here to do that. I am always going to give you the facts, regardless of how difficult they are to hear, because we're all in this together and you should have the real and best and most up-to-date information. And for the last 3 years, I've gotten up every single day to try to give you that information. All right. Theses change, information change. We need to be able to change with that. There it is. Let's move on. The Swift Shared Interoperability Ledger is ready for use. The ledger has therefore been designed to support 24/7 payment processing based on verifiable funding commitments while continuing to use settlement systems outside of the ledger. So 9 months later, the Swift ledger is ready for initial use. Also, Chartner did post this. Swift's ledger still covers the last mile in payments through existing traditional systems. 25% of payments still take longer than 10 minutes to reach a beneficiary bank. The communication has been upgraded. The settlement layer hasn't. If anyone was positioned to enable settlement efficiency to those rails, it would be Ripple. And I agree, Ripple has some incredible technology using XRP and RLUSD to move value instantaneously anywhere in the world in 3 to 5 seconds to very little to no cost, right? And I think that is going to be the system moving forward. It's going to be stablecoins. It's going to be assets like XRP, XLM, HBAR, and I could list a dozen other really important assets like Canton Network that is really involved in this new infrastructure that is being developed by all of these core systems. Now, remember, Swift as an institution has not publicly come out and said, we're going to use XRP in any capacity. But there are Swift member banks which make up the Swift system who are Ripple partners. And if they want to use Swift messaging with Ripple or XRP settlement, they're going to have that ability. But they're going to have that ability with everything else too. Circle and Tether and Stellar and HBAR and Canton. They're all going to have this ability. It'll be a multi-chain interoperable future. And that's what we know to be true as of right now. And it says before completing a final settlement through existing payment systems. So Swift could still be using old systems here. And this is why it does take a little bit longer than 10 minutes. It could take a few days depending how complicated that payment is and how many banks it has to go through. As we move to this new system, all of this will be instantaneous, and it'll be interesting to see if Swift makes a decision to start partnering with specific blockchain technologies. Obviously, they did build an EVM-compatible blockchain through Consensus and Linea, and really anything could be connected to that through the Chainlink and other technologies. All right. 75% of payments on the network reach beneficiary bank within 10 minutes. There's still a cost to this too, remember. And that's why we're introducing this new system. And that's why we're waiting for regulations to catch up. Chartnerd also posted this, which I thought was valuable to add here to the video. Said, now this is very interesting. With Swift's launching their blockchain-based ledger for tokenized deposits, they have next steps, which include adding additional use cases, such as future forms of digital currency, including areas like programmable money and agentic commerce. So it could be AI, it could be central bank digital currency. And it said, why is this relevant? With Swift's new blockchain ledger acting as an orchestration layer for tokenized deposit, it coordinates payment instructions between banks so they can move money digitally 24/7, including over the weekends. The actual money itself does not move on the blockchain. The ledger only manages the communication side of the story, with final settlement still happening on traditional rails. The tokens only serve as digital IOUs until the actual funds clear on legacy systems, meaning Swift's ledger orchestration, payment communication, but still relies on traditional rails for final settlement. Actual funds can still take days to clear. This is the core issue, the gap between coordinating a payment and actually finalizing it. All right, he goes on to say is, no, I'm not stating Ripple will definitely act as the missing link for settlement. And then I do think he got this mixed up. It says, yet the last mile for payments, even with this blockchain-based ledger orchestration, has a missing piece. That's a fact. So I think what he's saying here is it's not a perfect system. It's really based on messaging. And if you want settlement, you're going to need other systems. What's also fact is that the settlement inefficiency is exactly what Ripple was built to solve. I hope that clears the air for the XRP community in reference to Swift's recent launch. Simply something to think about. So the great thing about this is there's still so much that we don't know. And as we move into the next 3 to 6 months, a lot of things will be unraveled and a lot of things will be made clear. And I think that's the most exciting part about all of this. We are investing in blockchain technology. We know the future is built on blockchain technology. We know that there's $1.7 quadrillion worth of assets that are going to find their way onto blockchain over the next 5 to 10 years. Will XRP represent the highest quality of those assets? I personally think so. but it's still, we are very, very new to this. I mean, look at real world assets.xyz. You have a total of 34 billion worth of assets on chain out of 1.7 quadrillion. It goes to show you that we are not even close to even 1% or 0.5% or 1/4% of the world's assets on chain yet. So there's still so much we're going to figure out here, and I hope we can figure that out together. Make sure that you are subscribed to this channel and following. I will always give you the facts, even though they are hard to hear sometimes. All right? I'll see you guys. Aloha.